Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully you can hear me. And you can hear some music. Let me know if you can hear the music as well. Come and say hello. Get involved in the chat. Hey, Daft. Hey, Daft. Hello, Woodshedder. I said hello to myself. Alonso, hello, mate. Can you hear the music as well as me talking? That's the main thing. Is the music too loud? Is it all good? Let me know. Hopefully you can hear us all right. Matara, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. Thank you for being here. Oh, cool. Okay, hold on. Let me take the music off. Let's get rid of the music. We don't need that. We don't need the music. Hold fire. Let's get rid of that. Oh, hold on a minute. It's all good. It's all good. Let's not worry about music. How are you all doing? Can you hear me loud and clear now? Hopefully you can. Hopefully it's all good. Is it clear? Can you hear us all right? All good, all good. Cool, very clear. Jane, thank you for being here once again. Woodshedder, Mansour, Batara, Alonso, and others. Good to go. Yeah, I've got to try and sort out this wavelength thing with the Spotify and all that sort of stuff. I've got Harris Heller's music, which is DMC Strike Free. It's all free content and it's great content. Harris Heller on Spotify. Check him out if you want background music to play on YouTube with no strikes or no copyright. Let's just say that. Let's wait for a little bit and get some more people in, and we're going to start going through some of these stories today. I've come up with a little bit of a different view. Dara, good evening, mate. Good to see you in. How you all doing? Oi, oi, says Gazimbo. Gazimbo's in and all. Good to see you all. Dale's in. Who wants to watch the Europa League anyway? What a waste of time that is. Unless you're in it, of course. So it's good to see you guys in. Make sure you drop a like for me as usual. Of course, this is interesting. We're going to get involved with some stories again today. Hopefully you guys will enjoy it. That's the main thing, and we're going to get you guys involved. We're going to split it down maybe sort of half hour each story, or we'll see how we go. See how we go. Mickey Mouse Cup, says Gazimbo. We can't say that. Of course you can. Right. We've won it twice. Don't need to win it again, do we? Been there, done that. Back-to-back European trophies. Who else has done that? Nobody. Not that I can remember anyway. Not that I can remember anyway. Let me turn my volume down on here. I just want to share this out. Batara, talking CFC while preparing your last meal for fasting. Wow. At that time of the morning as well. I appreciate you being here at that time, mate. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Clint, good to see you, mate. How are you? How you doing? Yeah, good to see you here. Really good to see you in. We'll get started in just a bit. Seeker, what's up, you guys? What's up, mate? I'm all good, mate. I'm really, really good. Really good. Tammy's off. Well, hope not. I hope not. That's what we're going to have a look at this evening. We're going to discuss Tammy Abraham possibly up for sale for 40 million. Obviously, Andreas Christensen in his contract. Timo Werner, and an article that I saw today that I want your guys' opinion on. And also, Romelu Lukaku coming back. What do we think about him? Alonso, Chelsea, I like when you look at your background. It's like a Chelsea command centre. Very cool. Thank you, mate. It does sound a bit better than it did the other day, I have to say. Yeah, the command centre. I've got the dream scene there. I've got the 2 shirts over there. I've got a shirt there. I've got the Mourinho. I can't move the camera, but I've got the Mourinho 2004 signed picture where he's got the trophy on his head. Where he's got the trophy on his head, he's standing with John Terry, Frank Lampard. Rashane, hello, mate. Good to see you from Jamaica. How are you? Thanks for joining. Tammy tag 40 million. Yeah, I'm not sure. Paulie prefers Tammy to Lukaku. I do understand that. Richard, good to see you here, mate. You think Tammy will stay? He loves the Blues. Dale likes Lukaku. So let's give it, what's the time? We'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll get cracking with some of these stories. I'm trying to work out my my OBS to do little different views for you. It's not the best, but, you know, we're just going to get involved and see how it goes. Gazimbo, Rom's big and strong and has got the pace. Do you know, he's also got a little, he's got a little something to prove as well, hasn't he, Mr. Lukaku? But the only problem with that, the only problem with Romelu Lukaku, well, not with him, it's the fact that he's with that agent, Mr. Raiola, who likes, let's just say this, he likes a little bit of a bung, doesn't he? Not a bung, he likes a bit of a payoff. So if you remember when we tried to sign Lukaku, when Conte was here, he wanted £4 million in his pocket, as well as the money for Lukaku. Chelsea refused to pay it, Man United did. And look what happened, we ended up with Morata. We went back to his home, Atletico Madrid, and he's moved on to Juve. So let's get cracking with this in just a second. We'll give it a couple more minutes to see some of you more of you guys in. I appreciate it's a bit late notice today, but I just thought I'd get involved and see how you guys are all doing and see if who wants to talk about Chelsea rather than record a video for you guys to watch and then decide to comment on or not. I think getting you guys involved in the chat sort of live is good because it gives your opinion straight away. Gazimbo says money grabbing agents ruin the game. They do. They do. All they want is just money in their pockets. That's all they want. Do you honestly believe that agents have got the best interest of their player at heart? Most of them haven't. I'll say probably a couple of them have, but yeah, no, it's not ideal, is it? So let me get my wood help. If I get my hold fire. I've got to sort this out. I've got to get myself my window up with my stories on. It would help if I had it already, wouldn't it? Really would help. So 1 second. I'm just going to load these up and then we're going to switch over to them and we're going to discuss the situation, discuss the different stories that have caught my eye today. Come and say hello in the chat. Come and join in. Hopefully there's no ads and all that nonsense on these pages. I don't think there is. So let's go with the first story that we've got. Hold on 1 second. So let's just change my view. Hold on 1 second. Just got to sort it out. Right, here we go. So this is the first story today that I want to focus on, you guys, and it's Chelsea ready to offload Tammy Abraham for 40 million as club plot overhaul of forward options. Giroud is also suspected to leave at the end of the season as Chelsea set their sights on Haaland and Lukaku, on both of them. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous story. So Tammy, 40 million. What do we think? What do you think of Tammy for 40 million? Would you take 40 million? Would you sell him? Mohammed, good to see you in. Ilias, he wants to see Nacho. We'll do Lukaku in a bit. So would you sell Tammy Abraham or do you think he's still got a future at Chelsea? Do you think that he's... do you rate him as a goal scorer? Is it the fact that he's a goal scorer? but he needs to do much more away from goal. He needs to do better, holding the ball up, winning the ball in the air. And do you think that we'll eventually be able to get that out of him? Jason says he wants to keep him. Chelsea TV says not worth more than 40, thinks he's more like 25 million. Gazimbo says 40 million's fair, but he wouldn't want to sell him, which is fair enough. Fair enough. Bataro, I missed that comment, mate. Let's just have a look. Marina doesn't like Haaland price tag. No, she doesn't. Chelsea paid a lot of money last summer for a lot of players. Will they do it again? I can't see it. And Richard says he'd rather that he stays. Ilias says keep him. Dale says it's a hard one, but he thinks he will go. And Dara believes that he's not 40 million. I don't think he is. But I wouldn't sell him. I wouldn't sell Tammy just yet. I'll try and keep hold of him. I know he's not. He's obviously hasn't impressed Thomas Tuchel. I think we all know that. And he does need to do more away from goal. He's got to. The guy is one of the tallest players we got in the squad, and he's, let's be honest, no disrespect to Tammy, love him, useless in the air. Absolutely useless in the air. He needs to do much better. He needs to sort of use his physique, use his presence a lot more to hold off defenders, to try and bully defenders. But I guess if you look at the age he is now and the fact he's been playing for as long as he has, will he develop into that sort of a player? Or are we basically saying, yeah, I don't mind about putting scores in. It was just last night when I said no score, no spoilers, and then about 5 people told me what the score was because I was recording it. So it was all right. But yeah, I don't mind. Arsenal are losing. Good. Dear me. Clint says Abraham would come back to haunt us. That's the thing. He is a goal scorer. He's scored goals wherever he goes. Last season for us, let's be honest. Think of last season. Tammy Abraham last season. None of us thought he'd score the amount of goals that he did, and he did. Seeker, I think we should not do it, but if we're getting someone better, I would seeing it as that he's academy born. 100% profit, good business for Chelsea, but I hope he doesn't haunt us. It's a common theme, isn't it, amongst the chat, that he could come back and haunt us. Kazimbo, I like him, but sometimes he looks like he thinks that he's made it and come across that he doesn't need to try. Oh, I got you. That's a good comment. That's fair play. Dale, like Bambi. Woodshadow, what if Tammy wants to leave himself? What if he's not happy with the game time and he knows that we will go for a striker this summer? Then 40 million is good and we should be happy for him. I guess that's what it comes down to. It comes down to if the player wants to go, what's the point in trying to keep him? But Tara Marina likes to sell Tammy, then go shopping in the market. But Tara, who do you think realistically that she'll get if we replace Tammy Abraham for the money? Jason, Werner's doing everything pretty well but scoring. Tammy can score but doesn't have the pace of Werner to press and make runs to open space for Pulisic and Mount. Zimbo, yeah, he's still our top scorer this year, I think. He is still our top scorer, which is ridiculous. Bearing in mind he's hardly featured. Tuchel's managed how many games in the Premier League and Abraham's not played any of them? Richard, the experience these players will have got this season going into next season will be staggering. It will. It will. MXC TV says they believe that Liverpool want Hakim Ziyech for 40 million. No chance. Chelsea won't sell for a loss after a single season. Do you think Ziyech will want to go? Hopefully, I don't think he will. I think he looks like he's more into it and more happy now. He's getting some game time. Alonso, Tammy was benched when he did nothing Southampton away. Mount and Adoy stepped up. Tammy didn't. That's a good shout. Can't argue. Cannot argue. As I say, Tammy Abraham will score you goals. He will score goals everywhere he goes. It's just, do you think that's good enough for our team, or do you think you need to be much more than that? And I think, looking at the way Thomas Tuchel has used Kai Havertz, Werner, I think he's got to be much more. That's why Giroud, it's very noticeable that Giroud's hardly featured as well. So, Jason thinks maybe look to loan Tammy. Do you think Tammy would want to go on loan again, though, Jason? Especially if Chelsea get Haaland. I honestly don't believe Chelsea will get Haaland. I really don't. I'd like to see him here. But then again, he's killed the Bundesliga. But is the Bundesliga as strong as the Premier League? And will he come and do it here? But it's his agent again. It's Raiola. Raiola always wants big money, and Chelsea don't want to deal with him. So, plus don't forget, as I keep saying, Haaland says that Chelsea is not a big enough club. Let's see if we win the Champions League this season. if he changes his mind. Jane, Tuchel really seems to have brought the team together really nicely. If Abraham isn't gelling well with Tuchel, he might be better leaving. It's another good point. Good point, Jane. Let's bang on, to be fair. Yeah, I think he's. I think it's very noticeable that there was a lot of people asking about Tammy for a few weeks. He was sort of not criticised, but he was sort of advised by Tuchel through the media. He needs to do this sort of thing. He needs to improve here, and he needs to be happy and this sort of thing. And since then, Tammy's got his head down and he got a reward by being involved against West Ham, coming on late. So if people are going, he should have scored that header against West Ham, but the ball's too high. From the position that he was, he could never get over it and get it in the back of the net for me. Anyway, that was my opinion. Batara, sell him now, buy him again in the future, just like Lukaku, if that's the case. Yeah. Just get rid of these players and bring them back. MXC says Tammy should play against Fulham. I can see him starting maybe against Fulham because I think he'll want to freshen things up and protect players for Real Madrid. But Alonso agrees with Jane. See, Tammy's got no future in Tuchel's plans, which is sad, but it's true, unfortunately. Richard, I'd love to see Tammy give some game time. Natural goal scorer. Yeah, he is a natural goal scorer. It's just he needs to do much more than just scoring goals. He needs to be much more. He needs to be much more involved in the build-up play. And if you ask me, he's not good enough in doing that at the moment. He needs to be stronger. He's got to stand his ground more. He's got to win. First and foremost, as I keep saying it, he's got to win more headers. He don't win enough headers for the size of the bloke. But he's definitely a goal scorer. I don't want to see Tammy. I'd rather keep hold of Tammy and give him a go next year. But with Werner, obviously. Hopefully with Tuchel coming up with more than one tactic, but we'll see what happens. Paulie Pablo, apologies. CFC need a world-class striker. That just isn't Tammy. 40 million is good business, which a lot of people are under the same opinion, and that's fair enough. Everyone's got an opinion. That's fair enough, mate. Good shout, though. Good shout. Is he world-class? A lot of people will say he isn't. But if he develops that side of his game, the other side of his game, then he could be, because the amount of goals he scores, potentially. Dale believes, same as me, Haaland won't come. I don't think he will. Gazimbo, I can't believe that I'm annoyed that we didn't beat Real in our own backyard. Speaks volumes in the job Tuchel's doing. Tom. He threw me there, calling him Tom. Gazimbo, we got an away goal. We dominated them. They hardly created anything against us, really, of note. And I'll be positive. Take the positives into the next game. They've got to come out and score against us. Hopefully the game will open up. Be positive. Let's be positive. Dara, I'm not saying you're not. Just, be positive. Don't worry about that. Don't have a sour taste in your mouth. Be happy that we got the away goal. Dara, we've got the creative players to supply Tammy up top. I'd like to see him feature more in our current formation and allow our wing-backs to supply him up front. That's a good shout. Maybe Fulham the weekend. We'll see what happens. Elias hopes for Lukaku. Len, how you doing, mate? Swap Tammy for Declan Rice and 10 million. Good shout. But who would you bring in? Excuse me. Who would you bring in as a striker, Len? Hello, RC from over in Angola. Thank you for joining, mate. Good to see you in. Bring back Lukaku or sign Harry Kane, who we said last night. He said that he wants to start winning trophies, but he wants to stay in the Premier League. Has Chelsea got a chance with Harry Kane? Probably not, because of that cretin Levy. Batara, the case is he didn't convince Tuchel yet in the training, maybe. Good shout. Deep State is in. Good to see you, mate. Tammy's value's gone down this year, so I don't want to sell when his price is so low. How much would you value him, Deep State? Woodshed, I think Haaland will bring trouble and harmony with his wages and price. Imagine what happens if he doesn't score for 3 games. The whole world will be on his shoulders, whereas Lukaku has that behind him. Yeah, that's a good shout. He's got experience. He's got experience in the Premier League. He scores goals in the Premier League. He knows what it's all about. And as we said the other day, I think he's got a point to prove. But it's that agent. It's just Raiola is the problem. Alonso, Tammy, I think, would be like a prime Adebayor. I can't think of any other player that is like Tammy. Are you referring to if he developed the other side of his game? Like if he was much better with a hold-up play, stronger, could sort of dominate defenders like the way Giroud does, the way Drogba and Costa do. So I don't think Tammy will ever be at that level, far from it. But if he can just develop that side of his game where he can be someone that you know you can play the ball up to and it sticks, then I think that he'll be much more involved on a regular basis and he'll take the next step for me. When it comes to putting the ball in the back of the net, it's not a problem. Never has been. It's just developing that side of his game for me. Charles, good to see you here, mate. 15 goals last year for Tammy. People say he's still not good, so they say, but all new players' goals can not up to Tammy. Exactly. He's still top scorer this season. That was last year. And as I said earlier, Charles, not sure if he was on, look at how many goals he scored last year. As you said, 15 goals. Did any of us really, under Frank and with all the changes to the squad, did we honestly think that we would have amount of goals from Lukaku last year that we did? Clint, you think that Tuchel prefers Giroud rather than Tammy? Maybe. Dale thinks Lukaku would come. And then says, Lukaku all day proven in the Premier League. 1 second. Got a dodgy throat, apologies. But you know that from the stream the other day. Ilias, can Lewandowski come to Chelsea? Barcelona. Bayern Munich are losing quite a few players this season, aren't they? This summer. Alaba, he's going. What's his name's rumoured to go to centre-half that used to play for Man City. Boateng, is he going as well? Would Lewandowski want to leave Bayern? That's the thing. See, I like to think, not being arrogant about the Premier League, but I like to think that most players know that the Premier League is the best, toughest, hardest league in the world, and then want to test themselves. So I'd like to think that Lewandowski would want to come to the Premier League and test himself. But if he's got it easy at Bayern, some people prefer that, don't they? They prefer to stay where they are, where it's easy. Lewandowski, it's easy. Come to the Premier League. Deep State, I wouldn't entertain offers for Tammy if they're above 60 million. Oh, fair play. 60 million quid. See, Werner pulls defenders and gets into the right places, but gets into the right places. The other person can do that for us on top is Havertz. Werner must play every game if you want to win. This is why Tammy will be sold, which is fair comment. Can't argue. Fair comment. He just, as I say, he needs to do much more. I think he knows that as well. Gazimbo, big fish in a little pond. Seeker, biggest summer ever a few weeks away. Get in Chelsea. It is a big summer. Big summer. Alonso says that he thinks the main criticism is besides Arsenal away last year. Tammy hasn't rised against the big teams. That's what people are judged by, isn't it? Or that's what managers are judged by. Chelsea managers are always judged by their results against the direct rivals. That's what Frank was being judged by last year. That's what he's being judged by this season. So, yeah, interesting. Very, very interesting. So that's Tammy, as I said. That's the article stating that Tammy... Just bring that article up again. So, yeah, oh, hold on. Would help if I brought up the right one, wouldn't it? So it's this one. Chelsea ready to offload Tammy for 40 million as the club plot overhaul. So this is what we're talking about at the moment, this particular article. So let's move forward. Going to move forward to the next story on the list, which is, hold on, would help if I click the right button, wouldn't it? Andreas Christensen. Contract hope at Chelsea as a Danish defender waits on extension talks. He's tied to this club. He's 25 now. He's got a contract at Chelsea till the end of next season. What are we saying about Christensen? About his performances this season so far? Since he's come in. Let me know about Andreas Christensen in the chat. One more thing from Batara about the situation with Tammy. Can we just re-sign Didier? Yeah. He'd still do a job, wouldn't he? Right, Gazimbo thinks we got to keep Andreas Christensen. What does anybody else think? What do you think of his performances pre-Tuchel, post-Tuchel? Gazimbo believes that the boy has become a man this year. He was always a little bit error-prone, wasn't he? He seemed that he was a little bit sort of tentative at time. He seemed to just be a little bit, I don't know, just seemed to be maybe holding back a little bit for me. But since he's been in with Tuchel in a three-man defence, he's been outstanding. remember Tottenham away where Thiago Silva reached for that ball, stretched for the ball and pulled his muscle. We was all thinking, oh, God. And it wasn't Zuma that came in, it was Christensen. And Christensen has been outstanding that we didn't miss Thiago Silva. That's how big of a compliment that I would pay him based on his form. So Gazimbo, as we said, he said he's got to keep him. Darius has improved drastically this year and Silva's done wonders for him. Got to keep him. Elias thinks we should sell Christensen and bring back Tomori. Elias, is that what you think? Oh, Malang Sarr. Okay. Jason says he looks good and he would re-sign him to a deal. Pesulani, hello, welcome to the chat, welcome to the stream. A loan move for Tammy would make more sense. That's the Chelsea way. Do you think Batshuayi's got a future at Chelsea? Probably not, to be fair. We're referring now to Christensen, Andreas Christensen. Up and down, weak, says Dale, fair play. Woodshed, Christensen has redeemed himself in my eyes, completely. You hope that he stays. A lot of people are thinking the same thing at the moment. I'll tell you what the problem is. I've got no lubrication in my throat. Hold on. Let me find some of that fizzy water nonsense. Hold on. All right, so Jason says he thinks he's benefited from working with Thiago Silva and now Thomas Tuchel. Alonso says keep Christensen. He's learning more under Tuchel and Silva. Clint says he's done well. We should keep him. Len, confidence has improved him out of sight. See, I'm with you, Len. Apologies for the noise if you can hear the fizzy water being opened. Fizzy mineral water, that's what it is. So that's a common theme that what people think is the with Thiago Silva and Thomas Tuchel has really sort of seen him sort of just get down and just concentrate on the main things. God, dear, that mineral water's off. It's a funny colour. Let's have a look. Seeker, 5-year contract for... Oh, hold on 1 second. Phil. Good to see you, Phil. Thank you for joining. Christensen has been solid, but I'd like to see more strength and athleticism. Fair play. Hopefully that'll come. That will come. Seeker wants a 5-year contract for him. It says Asprey's on his way out. Silva's on his way out. Rudiger's getting old. That leaves us with Zuma and Christensen. Rudiger and the new signing. Tomori's gone. Hopefully he's not. Gazimbo, is that a can of wife? No. We don't ever call it. We don't call it wife thingy. We don't do that because that's rude. We call it do as you're told. It's a can of do as you're told because it doesn't sound as aggressive, does it? Batara, keep Christensen. He's already 10 years in our Chelsea. He's our academic success. He was on big money in the academy as well. Richard, all these players are getting stronger together. We've got a real good squad. New players take time to bed in. Give them another season together, then see where we need to go. That's a good shout. Rayhan, Yusuf, good to see you in, mate. Thank you for joining and getting involved in the chat as well, of course. With all the players we're getting linked with, plus all the players rumored to leave, sometimes I get concerned about the squad balance for next season. What are my thoughts? I'll tell you what it is. I mentioned it last night. If you look at our squad now, we've got 3 left backs, which one needs to go. Two players for each position. We've got 5 centre backs, obviously one needs to go. We've only got 3 central midfielders, and I'm referring to midfielders that play deep in the 2. We've only got Kovacic, Jorginho, N'Golo Kante. Yes, we got Billy Gilmore, but he's not featuring for Thomas Tuchel at the moment. So for me, there's a void there. We need one more player there. Will it be Efan Ampadu when he comes back? Have to wait and see. People are saying Declan Rice, maybe. And then you've then got up front. So if you look at players that can play in a wide area, if you're going to play 4-2-3-1 with 2 wingers, wide areas, you've only got 3 players that can play wide, naturally. You've got Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic, Hakim Ziyech. So you need another winger. So for me, you need another winger, another centre midfielder, and then if Giroud goes, a striker, so 3 more players. But it's interesting to see what's going to happen. I think the bulk of this squad will stay together next season, hopefully. And I think it looks quite balanced. And for me, we've got the option with the players that we've got. We can switch to a different formation It'll suit them. 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. Paulie Pablo Paolo. Can I just call you PP for now on? Because that's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? I think AC has come on leaps and bounds. TT and Thiago Silva have taught him well. I think he's a future, but we should also be looking to sign Varane if that's still a thing. Is there any truth in that Varane rumour, do you think? Would you have him over Christensen, maybe? Will Thiago Silva stay for another year? I wonder, if we win the FA Cup, touch wood we do, if we win the Champions League, will Thiago Silva think job done and go back to Brazil? I wonder. There's no talk of trying to get him to sign a new deal or the extension that's on the table, and I wonder if they're waiting to find out what happens at the end of the season. Pesulani, top player Christensen should be partnered with Zuma. Fair play. Want a 2? Would you play him in a 2? I think the problem that you've got there is someone who's a leader that organises and talks. I don't think either of them do. They're very quiet players for me. Not sort of captain material, but sort of leaders, organisers, like your John Terrys, like your, your Jamie Carragher sort of type player, centre-back. Alonso says, Christensen is like a modern Robert Hoof. Robert Hoof, remember him? Alex as well, remember him? Will get stronger with age. Gazimbo's not a problem. Not a problem from the north. Clinton's having a beer himself with his mate. The only problem is he's a Man United fan. Oh, well, you can always commiserate him, couldn't you? How's Man United getting on at the moment? Are they still 0-0 with Roma? The thing is, everyone's got freedom to make choices, but he's made the wrong one, hasn't he? Bless him. Never mind. Woodsheller, Christensen's got 10 years with the club, would bring authority in the dressing room as he gets older. Yeah, that's a good shout. But is he vocal enough? That's the thing. He just seems to me he's someone that is so focused on what he's doing himself that he's not one that would organise people. He seems to be quite a quiet player for me. You don't ever see him sort of barking orders at people, do you? Organising people, and you know what I mean? Khalid, good to see you. You don't rate Rice. That's fair enough. Everyone's got an opinion. Jane, let's go to my family Skype call. Cheers, Dad. Dad's a Millwall supporter, says, I'm getting decent football chat this evening. Enjoy your call, Jane. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Deary me, Millwall fan. Never mind. Lewis is here as well. We need a right back as well. Yeah, we do, I guess. If Aspi, would you say Aspi's now a centre-half, maybe, in a 3? We don't need Varane, says Khalid, which is fair enough. PPPP. Oh, Paolo. Thank you. I can call you Paolo. I appreciate it, mate. Thank you very much. After a while, I have to put my teeth in. Chibuezi. I hope that's how I pronounce your name. If it isn't, then I am useless. I've got to hold my hands up. Chibuezi. There you go. I've tried it again. What we need now is to get a strong striker, a centre-back and a right-back, which is fair enough. Fair enough. It's understandable. I do understand that. Down here. Let's go on. Never mind. Okay. Deep State says no to Varane. Christensen Silva is so much better than Varane. What do you think of Varane against us the other day? Do you think that the two centre-backs playing with him didn't help him out much? And he seemed to be a bit isolated in the middle. Varane's been someone I've been linked with before. But, yeah, I'm not so sure. Not so sure. But Tara, with our current squad, the vibe was like the starting projects in 2004. It was. Don't forget, though, that started in 2003, the season before, when the money come in. Seeker, Chelsea need that prolific 20 goals a season striker. Drop Van on the wing, get a solid defender, then we can start playing 4 at the back. Seeker, do you think we got the players to play 4 at the back, especially centre-back positions? Talking about leaders. There was a comment made last night about playing Rudiger next to Zuma. Was it Zuma or Christensen? And for me, I don't think that would work because neither of them are real sort of leaders and organisers. I don't think Rudiger is either. Rex, good to see you here, mate. Chelsea be making a mistake getting Lukaku. Conte compensate Lukaku's weaknesses by putting Lautaro next to him. Getting Lukaku without proper setting in the team be another failure again. That's a good shout. That's a good shout. I guess it's the way that the team are lined up. and it's the way that the team play and how important the striker is. And I'm going to mention that in just a bit when we get to Werner. Khalid, why do we need a leader in defence if Silva leaves? Sorry, I'm trying to get my teeth in here. Lewis, Dave hasn't got long. My man, PPPP. Seeker, Christensen hurt me a lot in the past. Cost us him a lot of victories. If we get Varane, it'd be Zuma and Varane for you. Yeah, Varane's probably a bit of a leader and a bit of an organiser. Paulino, good to see you here, mate. He wants Harry Kane at Chelsea. I think we'd all take Harry Kane if we could. But will Daniel Levy want to do business with Chelsea when he's proven previously he's not interested? Not interested at all before. Modric. Louis says, problem is, we've got so many players out on loan. If we're not going to use them, we should sell them. Enough of loaning people out. I think the rules are changing about how many players you can put out on loan now, or they've changed already, or they're going to be changing. And Chelsea have been quite clever with the amount of money they've made from people that have been sent out on loan and been sold off. And you're going to see it again with Moses, Bakayoko, Danny Drinkwater, Danny D. Khalid, I think Varane is not the same player he was the last time we were in for him. And you do agree that Rudiger's not a leader. Deep State says Christensen should try box-to-box midfielder. Dale says it's going to be an interesting summer signing. Tuchel will know who he wants. Ice cold. Good to see you, mate. On lunch break there. You're on your lunch break. What do you normally do on your lunch breaks? Batara says hijack Kane just to make Spurs fans riot. Dearie me. I think they're going to probably riot anyway because if he's coming out saying what he has done about he's at a point in his career where he wants to show something like, for his career to have meant something with the trophies. At the moment, all he's doing with his trophies cabinet is dusting it. Let's be honest. Box to box. So this is the article we've been talking about. Oh, it would help if I showed the right one, wouldn't it? Here you go. Christensen. Contract hope as he waits on extension talks. He's got 1 year left in his contract when this contract finishes at the end of the season. And so he's looking for an extension. He's only 25, 4 5-year contract. Another couple of them. Hopefully that'll be decent, wouldn't it? Would be decent. Would help if I move me. There you go, look. This modern technology in me is marvellous. It's so well organised. Really, really is well organised, as you can see. Seeker, we don't have leaders at the back. If we do play 4 at the back, we need solid DMs to contribute. Rudiger's too rash, hot-headed. He would not last. See, I do say the same thing. He's kept his head for the time being, but as soon as there's a bit of a flare-up, he's first there, isn't he? We keep saying that. Ice cold. Watching YouTube at your desk. Wow. Good to see you. And to Ice Cold's work colleagues. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Ice Cold, mate, as always. Khalid, that'll make my year if Harry Kane joined Chelsea. Abdullah says he wants Harry Kane or Haaland. That was good pronunciation, that. I'm happy with that. Khalid's just the rest of the Spurs fans. Deep State, if Kane chooses us, Daniel Levy can't block it. That's the thing, he can't, can he? Well, he'll try and get as much money as possible, but will Chelsea pay a lot of money for Kane? How old's Harry Kane now? Is he 28? 27, 28 or something like that, maybe? Will we pay a lot of money? You're guaranteed goals, let's just say that. That'll put an end to your goal problem. Imagine if you went to Man City, they replaced Aguero with Harry Kane. That'd be a nightmare. Ice cold. Christensen's a keeper. If we commit to the back 3, he's clever footballer, Andreas Christensen. Very clever, and he's done well. He has done really well lately. I've got to say. I said it earlier when Thiago Silva was out injured, and he come in and he was just brilliant. So good, so good. I think the best position for Christensen is playing in the middle as a sweeper with 2 players outside of him because he reads the game so well. Obviously, he can't when Silva's there. Well, Inu says Chelsea need a striker midfielder like Aouar. Okay, and PSG captain for defending. Khalid is more likely to join Man City. If Harry Kane joins Chelsea, I will sure buy a T-shirt. and he's a monster. We'll win the league and the season, Champions League competitions. Maybe. Brian, hello, mate. Evening, Chelsea and everyone. Wasn't expecting to have a chat, but this is a lot of interesting more than the struggles of Man United and Arsenal. So what's the score? What's the score in Man United game? Are Arsenal still losing? Deep State. Remember, Kane is more EPL proven and probably cheaper than Haaland. Yeah, but Haaland's. I guess the thing is, right? If you sign Erling Haaland, how long is he likely to stay with you before Barcelona or Real Madrid come in? Because as soon as they come in, he's off. It's obvious that he's got that. He's got that. I want to play for the biggest club mentality, and he's going to go there eventually. So, Man United's losing 2-1, and Arsenal's losing 2-0. Oh, dearie me! Oh my word, Clint. Latest on Aguero. I think there's links with him and Barcelona, isn't there? Bojo. I sincerely hope that's someone that's just coincidentally called Bojo and it's not the Prime Minister. If it is, good evening. I'm sure it's not. Christensen must stay, right age, natural ball player, proven ability and potential for future. Exactly. Khalid, true. Spandau Ballet. Chibuzi, I suggest we let Abraham Emerson to go on loan. Okay. What, you wouldn't sell Emerson? You want to keep hold of him and loan him? Brilliant. Arsenal 2 down, Man United losing 2-1. Man United are at home as well, aren't they? Jadon, how you doing? Long time since you joined the live. What do you mean? Didn't you join the commentary the other day against Real Madrid? If you didn't, where were you? If you said you're watching the game normally, that's fine. I'll accept that as an answer. No problem. Tara, we need another winger, right? So why not just hijack Son and Kane? Double right for Spurs. Just take all their players off them. But Tara, let's just say this. You can't take too many Spurs' players and put them in the Chelsea squad because they've not got the winning mentality. How about that? You want players that have got experience of winning things. You can't have an inexperienced squad with no people that with no players that are used to winning trophies. Deary me. Khalid says he was disappointing Watson about Haaland not being with us for long before going off to Real or Barca. That's what I think. Oh, cool. Thank you, Khalid. Appreciate it. I appreciate the fact that you agree with me. Brian, United at home and they scored. United scored first and they're 2-1 down to Roma. Deary me. All English finals are out the window. Gamino, how are you? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. We're having a bit of a chinwag. Gamino. For those of you that have missed so far what we've discussed, just to recap, we looked at Tammy Abraham, this story. Tammy Abraham to be offloaded for 40 million, report, supposedly. And we're now talking about Andreas Christensen and his contract extension. That's what we're talking about at the moment. So, MSB, we don't need a winger unless we change formation and actually use wingers, which we don't at the moment. Tara, that winning mentality is so true. I saw it at the Carabao Cup final. Exactly. Gamino's heard Liverpool's positioning for Ziyech. Do you think Chelsea will let Hakim Ziyech go after one season? Unless he wants to go himself. If the player wants to leave, then you've got a problem keeping hold of someone like that. Because it can be negative. But I have to say, this is just my own personal opinion from what I noticed in the beginning. So probably towards the end of Frank and Thomas Tuchel in the beginning, Hakim Ziyech's body language was awful. He didn't look like he was interested. He looked like he had the right ump. He just looked really miserable. But if you now fast forward to recent weeks, when he's been involved in the big games and he's scored at Porto and things like that, and he's come on and he's been a real influence. Cup semi-final. He looks like he's enjoying it now. He's enjoying Chelsea, enjoying the football. I don't think that Ziyech would want to go. I think that Hakim Ziyech has maybe had a bit of a sit down and looked at the squad and looked at what's happening with Thomas Tuchel and how well we're doing at the moment, bearing in mind he's coming halfway through the season. And I think that he can see the real potential of this squad growing and just taking a step up next season. Hopefully, Ziyech doesn't want to go. Oh, dear. Okay, so Khalid says we sold him to Abraham. Richard, yeah, hold on to Tammy as well. Brian says, sadly, it looks as though Tammy's definitely on his way out, but he needs regular games. He wants to get back into England squad. That's the thing. That's the thing for Tammy. You can imagine, obviously, with the Euros this summer, he wanted to get in there with a shout of getting in. I know it's probably a big ask, but if he scored another 15, 20 goals this season in the Premier League, he'd have a shout, surely. But he's not playing. So I can't see him going. So that could be a big thing that's for Tammy that he missed out on, and that he wants to have a good season next season to go to the World Cup 2022. Chibuzi says Mendy must stay. We're not talking about Mendy, but he's only just signed, so I'm sure he's going to stay. He has impressed Mendy. Definitely. Seeker says Ziyech will never leave. Chelsea just need that big defender to play 4 at the back, and Ziyech will be a regular starter. It's a fair comment. So let's have a look at the next article that I was looking at. Right, so let's move forward to Timo Werner now. Now, we spoke a bit about Werner last night. Look at this article. This is on Absolute Chelsea. Comment. Timo Werner's form is becoming hard to defend. So I just want to read this first bit. He said, as the ball dropped to Werner 6 yards out 10 minutes into the first half of the game, you have to bet your house that it was not going to go in the back of the net. You may have won the bet. You wouldn't have had that one big. The odds on offer would have been very short. Instead, all you can muster is a sigh and a shake of your head that it's happened again. Timo Werner's form is becoming hard to defend. Now, guys, for me, I think that the person who's wrote that article doesn't know football. I'm saying that out loud. I don't care. I think that the person who's wrote that is quite narrow-minded. And I think the person that's written that article, in my opinion, wrote that article based on tunnel vision on what a striker is supposed to do, score goals. The problem that you've got is a striker in the Premier League now is not there just to score goals, for me. Now, I said this yesterday. I said it in match commentary against Real Madrid. Okay, the first chance where Pulisic held it back to him, it come right to him. He had a defender closing him down. He got the goalkeeper coming out and spoiling splaying himself. Werner just took it quickly, and it's only because the snake's long leg blocked it. But what I noticed watching the game back again after the game finished and on my stream finished, what I noticed with Timo Werner, and if you guys have still got footage of the game, watch the game back again and watch Timo Werner. What he did, Tariq, thank you for joining. What Timo Werner did against Real Madrid, against their 3-man defence, he moved to the left-hand side, up against Militao. He played on his shoulder. Then he come inside. Then he played up against, in between Varane and Militao. Then he moved to the middle of Varane and Nacho. Then he went out and played wide from Nacho. He was consistently moving across their back three, moving them all about. Khalid, good to see you, mate. Thank you for being here. Have a good evening. He was consistently moving defenders around the pitch, unsettling the centre-backs. And because he was doing that, with the 2 number 10s moving into spaces between the defensive line and the midfield, our number 10s, Mount and Pulisic, were finding some spaces. Timo Werner, although he didn't score a goal on the night, and although maybe he could have done better with one or two little moments in the game, Timo Werner's involvement off the ball was outstanding because he literally kept those defenders busy the whole game. The whole time he was on the pitch, he was going from one side to the other. He was working across. He was making runs in between. He was taking them wide. He was coming inside. He was playing through the middle. And he was allowing our midfielders, our number 10s, to have space. And for me, I just saw that article and I thought, what are you talking about? So I just think, Matt, how you doing, mate? Good to see you. Thank you for joining. If I've missed anybody else, Uja, how are you? As a striker not scoring goals, like saying goalkeepers should save goals. That's what, yes. No, what I'm saying is a striker in the Premier League and at Chelsea now is not just about scoring goals. It's about what you bring to the party, what you offer the team in work rate, your movement off the ball. So look at Tammy Abraham. Look at Giroud. I'm not saying they don't work hard, but their mobility. Giroud's not mobile. We're not looking to play up to a striker to hold the ball up and lay it off. We're trying to play in behind. We're trying to create spaces to lengthen the pitch, to create space between the defensive line and the midfield, to allow our number 10s to work their magic. And I think that's exactly what it is I'm trying to say. So that article I'll just bring it up again if I can figure out my outstanding technical ability. So this article again, Timo Werner's form is becoming hard to defend. Joel Middleton at Fan Nation Absolute Chelsea, what are you talking about? For me, it's like, what are you talking about? You don't know the role of the striker at Chelsea in the Premier League now. Timo Werner, don't forget, this is Timo Werner's first season. Werner's had to play all sorts of different roles. He's had to do jobs for 2 different managers. He's not had the support of fans in the stadium behind him, getting him to settle down and backing him. He's trying to get used to the football. Just give the guy a little bit of time. Give him next season. He will fly. He'll score plenty. But what he's doing at the moment, and this is the most important thing, I believe, Timo Werner. What Timo Werner's doing is he's making a contribution. If he was just playing up there and doing nothing, then you'll say, what we bought him for? What's he doing? Rubbish. Absolute rubbish. He offers nothing to the team. Fair enough. The fact that he does, and as I said, Real Madrid, it was working the 3 defenders. One player by himself, working them, not bullying them, as in like a big busting centre forward like Drogba or Costa. He was mobile and moving in between them. And defenders hate forwards that are fast and mobile. They hate it. They can't stand it. And he was working them brilliantly well. Gamina, I remember when he scored 2 goals against Southampton in October. He did. Chibuzi, Timo needs more time. He does. Richard, like so many of the Chelsea players when they're young, we need to be patient with. Then Timo will become a Chelsea great. He will. Brian says we need to wait until next season for deciding on whether Timo's got a long-term future with us. We must ignore the anti-Chelsea crap from the media. Great shout, Brian. Brilliant shout. Matt P, thank you, mate. Hecati's flame. Forget Timo. If CFC are a big club, we should be finding the next Suarez-type player or a big guy like Haaland. Yeah. Haaland, he won't come. If he does, he'll be off after a couple of seasons. I mean, those kinds of articles are just bad. Werner's big working, but he's struggling to get better, and it's not easy in the Premier League. Yeah, agreed. MSB says Pulisic's done well as a 10, but he's a proper winger player in that position. See, I think he's a winger as well. And Katy, Pulisic needs a confident striker to play with. But do you not think that he's confident with playing with Mount and Werner at the moment? Those 3 working in tandem. Brilliant against West Ham. Good against Real Madrid. For me, I thought they were good. Brian, Richard, I agree with you about Timo. Ice cold. Our fan base can be overreactionary, but many Chelsea fans support Werner. He works hard and creates chances. Exactly. Gerard, good to see you here, mate. He's a game lad and tries his best. He doesn't hide or like a lot of star players when things are not going well. I'll give him another season. Ujar says, thanks, I agree with the fact that it's in his first season of the Premier League to mark his game. We should learn from our past mistakes of offering good players too soon, like Kevin De Bruyne. That was Mourinho's fault. And Lukaku, that was Mourinho's fault as well. Brian, spot on. Thank you, mate. Seeker, Werner will always be in my 11 no matter how many times the fans speak about him. If Timo doesn't make that run in the box, Pulisic will not have that room. Exactly. And that's the thing. Now I'm talking about the fact that Werner keeps making these runs across the defensive line. When Rudiger picked that ball up, they're too busy worried about what run Werner's going to make. Pulisic's got him behind. A Catty's flame. FYI, Timo's 25. Suarez was 10 times Timo at the age of 23. Are you a Luis Suarez fan, Hecati's flame? Do you like old Nashers? The man who used to win his school athletics championships by his teeth. Batara. Just like what I said before, give Timo a bunch of finishing training. He can finish. I'm sure he can finish. Camino, everyone should look at the number of assists Werner's brought to the team. He's really good. MSP in the back end of this. I backed the squad at the end of everyone, though, thought we were playing with loses money after quarterfinal. I'm proud of the squad. Darrell, I think some fans are frustrated. It's been so long since we've had a consistent goal scoring striker. That's a good shout. I think you probably fans will agree with you, mate. So now they're mad at Werner for not living up to that yet. Some people are too impatient. Yeah, Drogba didn't set the world alight his first season. No, he didn't. He didn't. And he got some stick from his own fans for diving. Akati's flame, no. Just thinking about confidence, scale, guile, anticipation. Suarez fanboy, no. Thank God, Akati. I was about to give you some penance. Brian, we've discussed before about how Drogba and Hazard both had average first seasons. They did pretty well after that. Gazimbo, better than Pizarro. Claudio Pizarro, do you remember him? God, we've had some forwards at Chelsea, haven't we? We talked about this the other day. We've had some, if you think from the mid-90s, the forwards we've had at Chelsea, my word, Chris Sutton, Gianfranco Zola, Tor Andre Flo, Chris Sutton, talking about. Pierluigi Casaraghi, my word. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank, Idiger Johnson, Nicholas Anelka, Didier Drogba, Hernan Crespo, Samuel Eto'o, George Weah, my God, Diego Costa, Alvaro Morata. What names we've had. Deary me, Matthias Kesman. Exactly the Matthias Kesman. Great shout. Tor Andre Flo, Richard, Tor Andre Flo, one of the most underrated footballers. £300,000. One of the most underrated footballers I've ever seen in my life. And people rave about Peter Crouch as a big centre forward. Tor Andre Flo was so much more skillful for me. Let's have a look. Dale loves Werner. Seeker, Pulisic, Werner, Mount. Good combination. Ziyech, Havertz, and Mount. That's Tuchel's remedy. Gazimbo, Crespo, you loved him. MSB, even Hazard, the goal went 30 games without a goal, then the game could be fickle. Gerrard, we've had the greatest of all time, Jimmy Greaves. Exactly, Jimmy Greaves, what a forward he was. Osgood. Deep State, the graveyard of strikers is a Chelsea thing of sorts. I forgot Fernando Torres. Deary me. Richard, Flo, much underrated. Kesman says Clint. Chris Show, sorry you're late, no problem. Gamino, please everyone smash the like button. Yeah, please. Sparky, Mark Hughes. Exactly. Security 12 hours. I think he's working. He's headed by Danny Ings. If Giroud or Tammy leave. That's fair play. How much? You'd probably get him for about 30 million, wouldn't you? Hakati's fame. I don't mind if we lose Tammy and Giroud for next season and play Timo on off next season, but we need a dead-eye striker and good service to him. Off topic, Havertz is going to destroy the world. Discuss. Another time. You're trying to hijack my content, Gazimbo. Hakaki's like keeping Giroud for the numbers only. Right, that's right, Gerald. Everyone talks about Greaves with Tottenham, but forget that we discovered him. We did. Matt P, off topic. What's going to happen to Ruben Loftus-Cheek? We see him back, or is that ship sailed? Hopefully he'll be back. Tara, give Timo support. He needs that. Just remember, Torres didn't score much, but gave us his unforgettable goal against that trolling Victor Valdez. Now, here's a point about service, right? It's very interesting you're talking about how Torres struggled, right? I've got an opinion on this. You believe it or not. So, Fernando Torres was signed for Chelsea when Didier Drogba was still here. Didier Drogba was that big of an influence on the Chelsea team and the way we played. The Chelsea team was built to play to Didier Drogba and his strengths. So we played the ball into Didier Drogba because you knew it would stick. We played it in the air to him because we knew he'd win it. We played it We played him in one-on-one with people because you knew that he could bully him. And we didn't play balls in behind much for Drogba to run onto. We didn't expect him to make bursting runs beyond people. Granted that he did a few times, but his Didier Drogba's strength was exactly what we all knew and what the players knew, and that's the way the team played for him. Now, when Fernando Torres turned up, he was used to having a Liverpool team, which I think they've even said on record, Gerrard and people like that as soon as they pick the ball up in midfield, they look for Torres' run in behind or in the channel. And when Torres joined Chelsea, he was making those runs, and the Chelsea team wasn't built to play that way. And he was making runs that he'd get the ball. When he was at Liverpool, they'd play him in. He would be a real influence. He knew that he'd make the run and they'll pass it to him. At Chelsea, he made the runs and was ignored because Chelsea wanted him to be similar to the way Drogba is. And that's not his game. If anything, it's a similar thing with Tammy Abraham. Tammy Abraham is not a Drogba-type player, even though he's got a frame to be that sort of a player. He's sort of in between Didier Drogba. Well, he's in between Giroud and Werner. He wants to be mobile like Werner, and when he gets going, he's quick, Tammy. But he should be somebody more like Giroud, but he isn't. He's the other way. And that's why Torres struggled for me at Chelsea. The team was never built to play to the way that he played football. That's another one we've missed. Andrei Shevchenko, Sheva. Remember when Sheva signed and he was playing up front with Didier Drogba, and Drogba had his highest ever goal scoring season because defenders had two to deal with, not just Drogba up front by himself with the two wingers. Let's have a look what we're saying here. Paulino says Torres did win the Champions League and the FA Cup. He did, and he made contributions. Gamino still needs of likes. Thank you. 51 so far, which is good. Zeus, good to see you here. Don't think we need anyone. Werner's just having a bad run. For flip's sake, Chelsea fans just can't ST for you. Oh, okay. And be patient. That's why our fan base is considered pathetic. But I think a lot of people on here will agree that all of the same opinion. Give him some time. Catty's flame. Torres is one of the dumbest ever after Torres' new injury. What were they thinking? He was a proven goal scorer. Wanted to leave Liverpool. Chelsea saw as an option, alternative option for Drogba, but it didn't work out. As I said, because the team wasn't built to play to him. Sad thing is, Chelsea's not the club where time is given to adjust. Hopefully, Timo will get the time. Hopefully. Rhetorical, man, I feel. Now, I know selling Tammy's going to be a mistake. Well, selling them for 40 or 50 million, only to try and buy back for maybe 80 million later. Gazimbo, Mr. Lead Boots. Alonso, we've had Kesman, Shevchenko, Torres, Morientes, didn't play for us. I pray and hope Timo's success deserves chance, fingers crossed. Chaotic, good to see you in, mate. He actually liked Torres, fair play. Everyone liked Torres. Batara, Timo did a great job, not like Pato. On Pato, that's another one that's played for us. My word. Based on his reputation at AC Milan, wasn't it? Gerald, what type of striker do you think Tuchel prefers? Can't think of strikers he's managed. Interesting. Who did he have at Dortmund? Was Lewandowski at Dortmund when he was there? Not sure. Celtic is never going to be prolific as he was at Liverpool after that bad injury when he was at Liverpool. 50 million was a gamble. I think he was okay. Seeker, I really want Jorginho to leave our club. We watch the game against Real Madrid. Jorginho never passes the damn ball to a lot of players making runs. Kovacic needed. Bloody hell, another one. Radamel Falcao. God dear, it has been a bit of a graveyard for a few of them, hasn't it? Do you think Werner will be a good partnership with Lukaku, knowing that Lukaku still has a first touch problem? Yeah. It's the old big man, little man. The old school centre forward partnership that people used to live by. Harry Redknapp was one, wasn't he? Crouch and Defoe. But yeah, so guys, if you're just joining the stream a little bit later on, if you're new to the stream, we're looking at these particular stories in the chat today. This one, Tammy Abraham, ready to offload for 40 million, supposedly. 40 million for Abraham. Andreas Christensen contract, hope. hoping for an extension. His contract runs out at the end of next season. And the comment made that Timo Werner's form is becoming hard to defend by absolute Chelsea. Now, I find that, as I said, I find that unbelievable, that comment. I really do, because it's much more about what you do off the ball and your contribution to the team as a whole. Mutu, Adrian Mutu, I forgot him and all. Mutu, what am I doing? Tara, Falcao and Pato, what a joke. Graveyard. Mutu, God, Chim Chimney, Chim Chimney, Chim Chim Chiru. Who needs Wayne Rooney when we've got Mutu? Look what happened to him. Joe G, I think Werner and Lukaku would be a banger. Fair play, rhetorical. I like Timo. The runs he makes do more than is realised, so he missed a few chances. Look at his assists and his runs. That's exactly what it is, Joe. Rhetorical. Brian Laudrup was brilliant at Rangers. Didn't work out for him with us. It didn't, no. Hecate's Flame. Chelsea haven't replicated the Drogba transfer in how long? They did with a certain person called Mr. Diego Costa. Mr. Diego Costa was the closest you're ever going to get to Didier Drogba. I never thought we'd see anybody that would have the influence like Drogba. And my God, if you take Diego Costa in his Chelsea days, a picture of him in his Chelsea kit next to Didier Drogba, the two of them had such a similar frame. They weren't massively muscly. They weren't like real, brick shithouses. They were solid, mobile, strong. They just bossed defenders. They took no crap. Defenders knew they were going to turn up to play up against them and just knew they're in for a real fight. And as I said, Diego Costa was the closest I've ever seen to Didier Drogba. Drogba was up there. Costa was just below him for there. Overall, but my word. There's another one. Demba Ba. How can I forget Demba Ba? Steve Gerrard. He slipped on his ass and gave it to Demba Ba. Steve Gerrard. Oh, dear. I could old sing-song now and again. Let's have a look here. What else am I missing? Oh, Alonso, you meant Morata. Fair play. Seeker, thank you for encouraging the like button. Ice Cold says Anelka was very good for us. Probably our best ever January transfer. He's up there. Anelka was brilliant. Demba legend. What he did. Akati, good call. Costa would probably go against any CB barring Vincent Kompany. He played it against Kompany a few times. Did decent. Morata scored a brilliant header that one time against Man United, wasn't it? And he run from the halfway line against Stoke. Will Tammy go to Villa, do you reckon? I think Tammy will... I think he'd like to go back to Villa if he's given the opportunity. If he wants to go, I could see it, and I think they'd take him back. But West Ham want him, and I wonder if something will be done with Declan Rice if the board finally agree to bring him back. Because bearing in mind they let him go, they see it as a bit of a blemish. Let's just say that if they bring him back. Costa and Drogba were fighters, says Gazimbo. Love them both, exactly. Seeker, Costa on a free athletic at the moment. No one wants him. I wish he can stumble on our doorstep and get out at 11. Imagine that. Imagine there's a sign at the end of the season and it's Diego Costa on a free. I think he's past his best though, isn't he? Tara, yeah, sad thing that he went. Steve, Timo's runs are not being picked out. That's why I believe Mason played deeper against West Ham. Imagine Timo playing with Lampard or Fabregas. I know. Alonso, Loic Remy and Mikel Forsell, said Woodshedder. All these other names are coming out. The Chelsea strikers from the mid-90s. Vialli. My word. Dearie me, we have to have some strikers. Here, do you guys, talking about midfielders, do you guys remember remember when Gus Poyet was playing for us and he was brilliant, scoring goals from midfield? And when Gus Poyet left, we were all saying, who's going to score goals from midfield now? And a certain Mr. Frank Lampard turned up. I remember that. I remember when Poyet left, it's like, where are we going to get goals from midfield from? How can we replace him and his goals? And look what he did compared to what Frank Lampard did. Ridiculous, isn't it? Ridiculous. MSB, if we had a striker and play with two up top, where does Mount play? He seems better up the pitch, but he isn't a winger. He isn't, no. Mason Mount can play as a number 6, a number 8, and a number 10. So you got that option. You can play deep, play box to box, or play as a number 10 in beyond a striker. It gives you much more option, where the difference is Kai Havertz can only play for me number 10. I don't see him as box to box Kai Havertz. That's my opinion. Gerard, does Timo rush his chance? Does he freeze for a split second? Is there a remedy in the 2K toolbox? I hope there is. Conan, good to see you here, mate. I do believe Werner will do well for now. Let's just appreciate his work rate. He will. Next season will be amazing. Chaotic, what Richard said about Vialli. Chaotic Woodshed. I forgot about Forsell. What super sub he was. Yeah, Lampard was our best January transfer along with Petr Cech, says Clint. What about David Luiz? Rhetorical. I think Timo did a good trying to go through the snake giraffe's legs. Exactly, a snake. Snake Courtois. Abshir, can Chelsea win the Champions League? Of course they can. Everyone can. Elmatic, how you doing? Thanks for joining. Pulisic, Kai, Mason, Timo, Ziyech. That's your front three combinations. That's fair play. Do you really think that Kai Havertz is a proper number 9, false 9? I think the problem for me with Kai Havertz is his natural instinct is to drop deep to come towards the ball and get it and not stick up top. So at times when we get the ball, we're looking for a ball in the box and there's no one in there because he's dropped off. Hecati's Flame. Chelsea's interplay in the final third was probably better during Ancelotti and the brief period with Duff and Robben. Scant chances for strikers on our side. Damien Duff and Ian Robben, outstanding combination with either Drogba up front or Good Johnson. That was just brilliant. And as you say, Ancelotti's team, Carlo Ancelotti's team was just sensational going forward. Brilliant team. Batara, Lamp's assist to Ramirez was the most unexpected pass in football history. I'll tell you what, it was just one that was just like Frank Lampard was holding off a challenge from, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been, what's his face? Busquets, I can't remember. And he just looked up and went, oh, there's Ramirez making a run. I'll just ping a ball to him. Just nonchalant, just play a ball through to him. It was a brilliant ball. And then what Ramirez did against Barcelona, that goal where he chipped the goalkeeper, Valdez, that was one of the most underrated goals. I don't think it's been celebrated enough. Everyone remembers the Torres goal, obviously, for obvious reasons. But two goals down with 2-1 on aggregate. We're down to 10 men. Ramirez was playing right back at the time and makes a run beyond Lampard and then makes a 70-yard run and comes up with that at the end of it. It's absolutely sensational goal. Sensational goal. Alonso, I always remember how Poyet, when he was at Spurs, wanted to beat Chelsea so much. He did. He was a snake as well, Poyet, wasn't he? Turncoat. Seeker, Tammy at West Ham will be monstrous. They need a striker. Yeah, Ida, says Chaotic. Timo freezes in front of goal. I think he thinks about it at the moment too much because there's a lot of pressure on him. If he just goes with his instinct, just go. Oh, the video's frozen. Why have I frozen? Oh, I've frozen. Hold on. Hold on. One second. Hello? Oh, it's gone again. Why have I stuck? Hold on, I'll be back. 1 second.